Whitehead, and this is Free2bHD. I want to thank you for joining in with me today. New beginnings. That's what it's about. The topic of my thoughts today. Sitting here, drinking a little bit of coffee. It's early in the morning where I am. I'm not sure what time it is where you are. It's almost surreal. It's almost too real to be real. There's something you may have known. If you can go back and check a lot of my videos over the past, I would say 1.5 to 2 years, you'll see that it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a struggle. And T.H. White says that we cannot build a future by avenging the past. It's all about moving forward. I mean, as you guys know, me and my ex, we broke up. I ended up spending 3 months in jail, called COVID. Found out that I had been judiciously removed from my own house. And the fact of the matter is, I was a victim in that situation. But however, the all that is will sometimes remove you from a situation to help you get to your next level in life. It's a lot to deal with. I have a new respect for homeless people because they're not homeless people, they're just people. Homeless where your heart is. And then when I went to Philadelphia after I got out of jail, I just decided to go to the city of brotherly love. And it's amazing how many homeless people they have there. Full parks, full of tents. They got shelters on top of shelters. But then I got back to Chicago and I started looking. And I realized that we have the same issue here. There are a lot of people walking around with backpacks. It's hard to find housing and employment and a lot of things right now, especially in the wake of COVID. So after that, I ended up sleeping at the airports and things like that. And finally, my good friend Paul, who has known me since I was a child, looked out for me, and he was able to find me a stable place to stay. And then at the same time, my new housing came in, but I had been assigned a lease way back in December, and I didn't get the keys until March. But it was all part of the process. I didn't understand. We really have bought into this belief, this false belief, that we are these flesh and blood individuals down here on this earth, and we're nothing. We have to bow down to this invisible force in the sky, and that if we do anything to the left or to the right, we're going to burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And that's just simply not true. But there is a program, there is a source, there is a energy source that we're all a part of, whether we like it or not. But the fact of the matter is, we are in the game of life. And with the housing situation, it worked out perfectly because I moved in, finally took full possession of this property on April the 1st. And it was so funny because I moved in and I hung out with a few people in the building, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing knocks on the windows at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, what the hell is this? I'm not getting up. I'm hiding, not even looking out the window. I'm like, I ain't even finna be bothered. And then about 2 days after that, my son-in-law shows up at the door, and he's like, where you been? I'm like, what? He's like, we've been coming here and looking for you. And it was actually my son-in-law and my daughter and my 4 grandchildren who have come down from Wisconsin, and they've been kicking it here with me since then, and it's just been a wonderful experience. I just have to tell you that, you must know that in your life, that whenever something leaves your life, that's because it's making room for something else better. The situation I was in originally was not healthy. It was not safe. And then the things that I've been doing to myself, at least for the last 30 years, have not been healthy and have not been safe. But now that I'm past that, it's almost like I really don't know what to do. I haven't had, my own home where I wasn't living with a roommate or a boyfriend or whatever, for like the last, I can't even remember. I've always had someone else around me, and a lot of times those situations didn't work out well. Because the fact of the matter is, how can you love someone else when you don't really love yourself. And when you love yourself, you treat yourself in the best way. You respect yourself. You see, but a lot of times we get bogged down by situations where we believe, that things are not going to get better. And that's not faith. That's not trust. And when I use the word faith, I'm not using it in any religious sense of the term. Faith to me is knowing that the situation is already all right. Johnny Tyler and Pearlie Tyler used to tell me all the time, I'd be at church at Zion Hill on the west side, and I'd be like, everything's going to be all right. They'd be like, it's already all right. But the fact of the matter is we are protected. Our lives, we are in good hands, but they are not physical hands. There is a force, there is a program that works around you. And if you start noticing the coincidences around you, for example, I looked on the ground when I was coming back from the food pantry, and there was a card for Payless stores, and I'm like, I've heard of Payless in years. I get home and I'm watching a Zusha from the 1990s kids show, and there was a commercial for Payless, the food store, and I'm like, get out of here. So we really do create our own reality, but as long as you are feeling that hopelessness, it's going to just continue to bring hopelessness. We really do have to change our minds. Sometimes we just have to smile. People think that you're happy, and when you're happy, you smile. But have you tried just smiling? Let's do it right now. Do you see how good that feels? I can feel it tingling in my legs. When you smile, you're happy. Sometimes we have to just change our minds. Sometimes when we're going through a terrible situation, we have to sit back and say, well, you know what? What can I do about this situation? Can I change it? Well, if you cannot change the situation, then either accept it or remove yourself from the situation. And when you can't remove yourself from the situation, accept it. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the purpose. I've seen a lot of stuff in the last few months. I've had 3 cracked ribs, fractured finger, people stealing from me, just a range of things to the point where I was just so low. But if you ever look at a valley or a mountain, you will see that at the lowest point, the very next point is the peak at the lowest point. Even if it's a small peak, it's still a peak. And there may be a steep climb, which means it might be a little difficult to get there, but you're almost right there. And that's what's happening. We think that we're down in the valley at our lowest point, and we're simply not. The truth of the matter is that the reason things are so difficult is because we're climbing to the top. And just like climbing stairs or climbing a mountain, the higher you get, the tougher it is. The harder it is to breathe. But when you finally make it to the mountaintop and you can see the promised land, you look around, it's just like, then you know it was worth it the whole time. It was worth it the whole entire time. So I'm learning not to be so afraid of my struggles. I'm learning to think outside the box. I'm learning to think for myself. And some of the old traditions and ideologies from our ancestors that they believed simply don't work for me anymore. We are here on this planet to be. That's it. To be. To enjoy life in all of its manifestations. The whole purpose of the flavor of life. I genuinely believe that at some point in time, the spiritual beings within us decided, like, oh, let me look through this catalog. John Whitehead, huh? Okay, that would be his mom, his sister, his adopted mom. Okay, church he's going to go to. He's going to be a musician. I like this life. And do you really believe that we would come to this point in our life? Do you really believe that we would choose a life that wasn't going to benefit us? That really wouldn't make a lot of sense. So the point is that now I'm in my own home. Kids, grandkids in the other room. I'm back here on my space. And I'm spending a lot of time doing motivation and helping people to rebuild their lives. As you well know, I've started back the Credit Tea with me, where you can just send me a note, give me a call, ask me your questions about credit repair, and I'll do the best I can to help you for the free, because this is what I do. And because you're probably going to refer me to somebody else and that can make a whole lot of money and that would be a great thing. But I just didn't feel right about not talking to you. But I just wanted to remind you that in this life, there comes a time when we're on our way to the top. It's like an elevator. And the higher we get in the high-rise building, there are going to come some floors where we're going to have to let some people off. Let them off, because you're moving higher, and there's only so much room at the top. I'm John Whitehead saying, hey, you've already been blessed from the day one to the day you die. You're more than what the world wants you to think. You have to start thinking for yourself. And even when you go through struggles, it's just a reason. And the timing is something that we just don't know about, but the program got you. I'm John Whitehead for Free2b. Have a good one.